In this sense, we go live with our colleague Jorge Gestoso. So for more information about these upcoming presidential elections in Ecuador. Hello, Jorge. What else can you tell us about these upcoming presidential elections in Ecuador?
We are here less than 48 hours away from the runoff for the beginning of the second round of the elections in Ecuador, and there are pure speculations about possible which polls are the more precise. There are some of them that gives the majority of the votes to the candidate Luisa Gonzalez with a comfortable margin between at least 5%, and other ones believes that that margin is narrower. Nobody really knows what's going on, but there are some votes from the undecided. Also, the votes are blank and refused the vote. And also, what is going to be the behavior of the Ecuadorians living overseas that are going to start to vote in different parts of the world, like Australia, very soon because of the time difference. There are many of them who live in the United States and also in Spain that could play a role if at the moment of counting the votes, the margin are very narrow. And here, the speculations start to be what is going to happen. If the margin of victory is very narrow, if the one who loses is going to accept the results or is going to question the results, if some of them could eventually claim fraud. There's something that we really hear pretty often here in Ecuador. So there are, anyway, very much enthusiasm and the people in the streets. The city is absolutely, we're talking about Quito here, the capital. It's very quiet, very organized. We are living the first day of what they call the electoral silence, because yesterday, Thursday at midnight, the electoral campaign finished with the electoral acts, both candidates in the city that is the most populated. We're talking about Guayaquil. Both of them, Luisa Gonzalez and Daniel Noboa, had their final stages over there. There's also some questions that, for example, we have learned that early this morning, the custody, the security of the candidate Luisa Gonzalez from the armed forces have been rechanged, meaning that the team that she was having throughout all these days, at the very last day, at very last moment, if you want, in the last 48 hours, has been changed for a new crew, and she is absolutely denouncing that, because she says that she has received many, many threats, live threats, and even her family, and the fact that changing their security, their lifeguards, and the people who she really feel comfortable with, was sending a very, very, very discomfortable message. She definitely blamed President Daniel Noboa for that action, being said that it's absolutely a way to act, trying to project himself that he is the one who decide what and when is going on in Ecuador. The denunciation of the lack of respect of institutions and the lack of respect of the rule of law. For example, he was not supposed to be a candidate and the president at the same time, and he didn't respect that. The same thing with the naming the candidate of the vice president, that he, by decree, replaced and in an act that is absolutely totally partial. So that had created a reputation that here we are having signs of an authoritarian leader, and for many people, they believe that prolonging him in 4 more years could create even a much more conflict situation, especially because the insecurity is very high, unemployment very high, and also environmental issues like an oil spill, the largest in the history of Ecuador, that happened a few days ago. It's still out of his radar. He didn't show up in the province of Esmeraldas and that. So all that is taking place, and in the case of Luisa Gonzalez, she is very hopeful that this time the blame game of blaming everything possible thing that goes wrong in Ecuador is blamed to the correísmo. Definitely it's not going to work this time. We get back to you now.
Thank you, Jorge, for the information. We'll stay tuned with you for more in